Yeah.
Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. The Wake Forest Demon Deacons find themselves at number 13 in our way too early top 25. And the Demon Deacons surprised everyone in 2021. They started the year at 8-0, found themselves in the top 10, and then ultimately won the ACC Atlantic Division and finished the year at 11-3 for just their second 10-win season in program history. And the scary thing is, guys, the Wake Forest is once again an ACC title contender. They once again can win 10 or more games in 2022, not just because they have loads of talent, because the schedule is relatively favorable. So welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, guys, as we take a look at Wake Forest's schedule and just a quick 2022 outlook for a team that is not going to surprise anybody this year, not going to catch anybody by surprise. But before we dive into that, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos. Check out everything down in the description below. Again, guys, hitting that like button, leaving a comment, subscribing to us to help us on the road to 10,000. It just takes you just a few seconds, but helps our channel out more than you know. So if you love college football, this is the place to you. Do not miss out on any of the content we have going forward, because we are producing college football content year-round, 24/7, 365, and we want you to become a part of our Gridiron Expert team. So make sure to do that today, guys. Help us out, and again, become a part of the Gridiron Expert team. So we take a deeper look at Wake Forest. We just said Wake Forest can win 10 games again in 2022. Well, how are they going to do that? They're going to do that behind a phenomenal offense. Last year, Dave Clawson's team had one of the better offenses, not just in the ACC, but in the entire country, and it was because of one guy, and that was their quarterback, and Sam Hartman, who once again is returning to lead Wake Forest. And yes, they lose a handful of players, skill positions, running backs, wide receivers, guys like that. But Sam Hartman has a great wide receiver coming back in A.T. Perry, who had over 1,200 reception yards and 15 touchdowns last year. The one area that Wake Forest has to improve on is their defense, but they returned 7 starters on that side of the ball, and Dave Clawson went out and hired Brad Lambert from Purdue to try to build up this defense, make them a little bit stronger in the ACC, so that this year they don't just win the Atlantic, but that they win the entire dang conference. And we take a look at their schedule, guys. Wake Forest has a relatively good and easy path to winning the ACC. Yes, there are a couple slip-ups here and there. Yes, there are a couple difficult games here and there. We will touch on those. But you look at their first 3 games against VMI, at Vanderbilt, and Liberty. I would be very shocked if Wake Forest did not start the year at 3-0. Obviously, it's a quality opponent in Vanderbilt. Yes, maybe the worst SEC team, but still an SEC team, playing a team out of the Power 5. Liberty, not going to be an easy matchup by any means, but they do lose their star quarterback in Malik Willis, and we expect the Flames to take a little bit of a step back. And again, we're not here to predict games today, but I think many of us would be shocked if Wake Forest, a top 15 team to start the year, were to lose one of their first 3 games. For us, the big stretch for Wake Forest, and that's going to distinguish them from maybe winning the Atlantic again or falling just short, is going to be from September 24th to October 22nd. When they play the games against Clemson, Florida State, Army, and Boston College. Those, to us, are the big 4 games for Wake Forest. And we'll start with Clemson. Why not? Because despite not winning the ACC last year for what felt like the first time in forever, Clemson will be the favorite to win the ACC again. Plain and simple. And they will be the favorite to win the ACC Atlantic again. Because while everybody dogged on Clemson for being a disappointment in 2021, let's keep in mind the Tigers still won 10 games. Dabo Swinney's Tigers still went 9-3 in the regular season, then got a bowl win over Iowa State for another double-digit win season. And Clemson in Death Valley beat Wake Forest 48-27 last year. Let's keep that in mind too. A 21-point victory over what was a top 10 team for Clemson in 2021. They demolished the Demon Deacons. The defense didn't have an answer for them. Now Wake Forest gets to host the Tigers, and they get to host them early. And that's what when I'm looking at the schedule, I think that really benefits Wake Forest here. I think it's better to get Clemson early than it is to get Clemson late like they got them last year when they played them in November. The Tigers, guys, yes, for us, are a top 10 team. This very well could be a top 10 matchup at the end of September and very well could determine who wins the ACC Atlantic very, very early on in the year. But Wake Forest getting to benefit from home field advantage in this game, getting to benefit from what should be a revamped defense, and getting to benefit from having a veteran quarterback under center once again, something that Clemson really doesn't have. Also, let's keep in mind that the Tigers lost their top 2 coordinators in Tony Elliott and Brent Venables. They then go on the road to take on Florida State. The Demon Deacons beat the Seminoles by 21 last year. So they lost to Clemson by 21, but they beat Florida State by 21, beat them by a score of 35-14. Florida State has a lot of questions that need to be answered. And this is a make-or-break year, is what it feels like for Mike Norvell down in Tallahassee. Despite the struggles that Florida State has had over these last few years, we know that Tallahassee is not an easy place to play. And if Wake Forest is coming off a hangover against Clemson, whether they are elated and ecstatic because they beat Clemson or down on themselves because they lost to Clemson, this game against Florida State is a very big trap game for me, because I will go out there right now and say, I think Wake Forest is the better team. And again, we're not predicting games right now. I think Wake Forest right now is the better team. But depending on what happens in that Clemson game, depending on if they are rattled by the environment at Florida State, you could see Wake Forest fall in this game to the Seminoles. So they cannot afford to overlook them. They cannot afford to overlook Army, a team that they beat 70-56 last year. That truly showed you how bad Wake Forest defense was. Because while many teams struggle against Army, Navy, guys like that in the triple option offense they run, to allow 56 points against the Black Knights was unbelievable. Army didn't have any better defense, though. Wake Forest still came out victorious. An unbelievable score, 70-56. That was at Mikey Stadium up at West Point. Wake Forest now getting to host the Black Knights on the 8th before they go into their bye week. They take on Boston College out of the bye week. They beat the Eagles by 31 last year. But the Eagles, towards the end of the year, they were beat up, they were hurt. Phil Jurkovec was not fully 100% at quarterback. He should be back fully healthy now for the Eagles. I would expect a much different game, a much different score. But Wake Forest, again, benefiting from getting a week of rest before the Eagles and getting them at home. So, again, a tough 4-game stretch there. But out of the 4 games we just mentioned, 3 of them are at home. 3 of them are in Winston-Salem. The only other game they don't play at home is at Florida State. Again, a tough environment, an improving Florida State team, but one right now where I believe that Wake Forest is the better team. But of course, it does not always translate to victories. But after that, the schedule lightens up a little bit. After that, the toughest game that Wake Forest has left, in our eyes, is the road game at NC State. And right now, in the ACC Atlantic Division, the 3 top contenders are Clemson, Wake Forest, and NC State. Wake Forest beat the Wolfpack last year 45-42. That was a high-scoring game and one that played a major role in who was going to emerge victorious in that division and play Pittsburgh in the ACC championship game. Once again, that could be the case. If Wake Forest falls to Clemson, but NC State beats Clemson like they did last year, this could be a game right here on November 5th that determines who gets to the ACC championship game. So this is a huge, huge, huge game. And Wake Forest, they escaped last year at home, now have to travel to the Wolfpack. Again, a team that's loaded with talent and has a great quarterback just like the Demon Deacons do in Devin Leary. So this is an NC State game that I think is going to be close, high scoring, and one that is just so huge in determining who wins the division if, of course, the Demon Deacons, Clemson, and NC State all live up to the preseason hype. Because I think they're going to be able to get past Louisville, even though it's on the road. And they beat them only by 3 last year. Louisville dealing with some changes themselves. Should be decent, but not ACC elite. North Carolina dealing with some changes themselves. Wake Forest lost to them by 3 last year after blowing like an 18-point lead. Get a chance to get the revenge over the Tar Heels at home this year. Syracuse showed some improvement last year, but not enough to be considered a major competitor in the ACC. Wake Forest escaped them, beating them by 3 in overtime. That's going to be senior night for the Demon Deacons, though. I expect them to take care of business at home. They close out the year at Duke, beat them by 38 points last year, 45-7. Duke dealing with a brand new head coach, finally parting ways with David Cutcliffe. Still going to be a long ways away from fully contending in the ACC, especially against some ACC elites like now Wake Forest. So again, that 4-game stretch we mentioned is key for Wake Forest. Are they going to be able to start off maybe 8-0 again? It's not out of the realm of possibility. 8-0 going into NC State would make Wake Forest not just obviously an ACC title contender, but a college football playoff contender. And that is what they can be if they can run the table or even just be a one-loss team. And they have the talent, the staff, and the schedule to be that. But I truly believe that you're going to know what this Wake Forest team is made of after September 24th when they play Clemson. If they fall to Clemson, it's going to show that it's Clemson's division once again. If they beat Clemson, we're going to see a very, very interesting race in the ACC Atlantic Division. And we're finally going to start to see some more parity in the ACC after years and years and years of not having it. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, become a part of our Gridiron Expert team today so you do not miss out on any of the college football content we have for you going forward. And that way you can help us build our channel, help us get to 10,000 subscribers. I promise you guys it will be one of the best decisions you make, not just now, but when you look back in a year from now, you're going to be like, I'm glad we joined the team, because we've got so much great content going for you, and we are so ready for this upcoming season. You have no idea. So make sure to do that, guys. And once again, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on The Gridiron Expert.